There we go. Right on. Hi. So, yeah, now we're going to do the interview. We're back with Phil, and now we have another guest. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Matt G. I'll just say my name is Matt G because my last name is way too Italian
Mhm.
to even attempt to pronounce. Um, well, I kind of more or less invented a little wizard opossum character named Bread Climp. He's kind of been around on kind of like all over the place. You might have seen just like him spread around from. Probably the main image that a lot of people spread around is there's one image that I see just reposted with like a bunch of different text on it. It's of him in the woods with that Wendigo creature that I put him in front of.
Mhm.
And it's just like him and like just him in front of him, and like the caption is like some like innocent little thing and like my responsibilities or something like that. And it's like just whatever meme that is, but it's been spread around so much that it all just kind of started from a like just a simple little post that I made, like, I don't know, I think like back in February,
Mhm.
of just a little wizard opossum on, I guess, like the trend at the time, because there's a bunch of trends on the AI um, groups in Facebook. There's always going to be like a trend that's every 5-10 minutes, every hour. And
Mhm.
the trend that is still kind of going and happens all the time is like news footage of stuff. We're always kind of like doing like news footage of things. And I just put a little wizard opossum on the news, and little caption was just "cool guy of the week, Bread Climp," and everybody thought that was like fun and kind of wholesome to come out of like this cursed AI kind of group area. And I made another image, and then more people liked that, and then I made another one. Then more people actually joined in on that. Then a couple of other images that I posted started getting spread around on like various different platforms like Twitter and stuff like that. I refuse to call it X. I'll never call it X in my life.
Mhm.
Um, it's always going to be. That's a topic for another day. Um,
Right.
but it's just been. It was just spread around all the time, like everywhere. And I mean, it's a simple thing to get spread around. It's a little wizard opossum. People like opossums generally. Not
Mhm.
everybody, but a lot of people on a certain corner of the internet find them very cute. People like wizards. If you put them together, it's very easy to see why he got spread around. I just didn't expect him to kind of get that spread around. And um, I've had a lot of people like ask me for like, are you gonna make shirts? And I'm like, man, I don't know if that's even like a thing that I can do. I don't even think that's right to do. It's just like a thing that I told a robot to make me. And um, I mean, if you want to like, I honestly don't know. I just think it's like really kind of wholesome and endearing that like just this little character that I guess I just thought of literally like just kind of like on the toilet, um, just sitting there. It's like, and people always ask me like, how did Bread Climp get his name? And I'm like, well, those are two words that I thought sounded funny together. Um, that was literally it. What's the origin of his name? It's like it's not a secret. It's just those are just two words that I thought sounded fun. Um,
Right.
like there's not really like a secret behind it, and I'll just like whatever situation that I want to put him in, I'll just put him in that situation. And what's kind of interesting that I've found is that he's such a wholesome character, and any attempt to make him not wholesome on any sort of like cursed AI group, like the main one, any attempt that anyone tries to make him like not wholesome, like put him in any sort of like edgy situation, is immediately met with like big pushback. Like everyone like flames that person like immediately. Like he would never do this, and I'm like, I guess you're inventing lore for my character that I made up. I guess. Interesting. But I find that kind of wholesome in a very strange and interesting way. That a lot of people have kind of like attached their own weird kind of wholesome identity to this little opossum guy, and just any like attempt to put him in any sort of like, I guess, dangerous or like awful situation that's like bad or edgy is just met with intense criticism like fucking immediately.
Right. No, it's interesting because like I feel like with Phil's like vehicles, like there's people who've attempted to do it. Sometimes it's kind of just almost making fun of like just the whole existence of it. But I feel like it doesn't come up to the quality of what Phil puts forward. Like the fan content is not to the level of the original content. Do you feel with like fan made bread Climp content? Are there times where you're ever just like impressed with what people are doing, or do you feel that it calls them to the same thing, or is it almost more like a pastiche of the content that you make with it?
I mean, it's I like seeing what people do with it. Like every once in a while, I'll just like scroll on my feed and I'll just see like a new way that people are in like interpreting, um, I guess the character. Because originally, like I didn't really have an idea in mind, but like after I gave it like a little bit of thought, after like the first post kind of went like a little bit, I wouldn't necessarily say viral, just more or less like got some attention. Um, I was like, maybe I should put like a little bit of thought into it and like kind of have some sort of like narrative, I guess, kind of. Um, I was like, well, I'm gonna start giving each like post, every single like Red Climp post that I have as its own aesthetic, and nobody has been able to replicate it that I've seen. Because I use a part of the Dolly 3
Mhm.
API. It's not hard to access at all. It literally took me an entire afternoon to figure out how to do it. But what the Dolly 3 API does is it allows you to use the realistic option, which like Bing does not let you use. Everything is like stuck on this like vivid option. And no matter how many like things you put in your prompt to like make it look grainy and blurry, there's still always going to be like a weird little thing in it that makes it look kind of off, and not super realistic. So in
Mhm.
like the Dolly 3 like API or whatever, you can set the style to natural. And so with Breadclimp, I can literally just put a simple prompt such as just like 1990s footage of a wizard opossum or like an opossum wearing a wizard hat. And it'll give me a style that is extremely similar to like the PBS show Wishbone. And
Mhm.
nobody has been able to like replicate that exact style. Like Bing has gotten kind of close to what that looks like, and I've seen a lot of posts that look very similar to that. Um, but nobody's been able to like truly replicate what that style looks like. And I've seen a lot of people like make a lot of similar posts to that one. The one that I was referencing with the Wendigo creature, that one was kind of like a trail camera kind of like cursed image kind of post. And I've seen a lot of people do those with him, and I find those pretty funny. Um, and I see a lot of posts that are kind of like or along the lines of like say like a Magic the Gathering card, which are those are pretty cool. Um, I wouldn't say that there's like a whole lot of people that try to mimic the original style of him, or try to like take away like what made the like original post or anything like so unique. They just such a simple like character and such a easy to latch onto character. You can kind of really do whatever you want with them. Um,
Mhm.
whereas kind of like it feels like you called them vehicles. I really like that. Um,
Thank you. I can't take
That's
the
his
credit
term.
for vehicles. Someone else called them vehicles, and I feel so bad. I don't remember who it was, but
vehicles.
vehicles is a lot better than cars leaking yellow coolant. So, oh
It
yeah,
rolls off the tongue a little bit easier.
yes sir.
um, with your vehicles, there's a certain style to them that is instantly recognizable as like a post from you. Like I
Aw,
can like see, I can see that, and I can see a picture of one of those, and I'm like, oh, that's. I don't even have to look at the name, and I'm already like, oh, that's Phil's post. I can even see a Rugrats post from you, and I'm like, oh, that's his. Like I can't. Like, there's already like a distinguishing. Like there's other people who try to replicate even your Rugrats like related posts. They can't even come get close to that. Um, which is like there's people who try to replicate like the way things are posted or the way things like look, and like some people understand like the idea of what makes it funny and are good at like continuing like the joke and like I guess carrying that torch in a way and
yeah.
like making more content to continue like the trend to make more funny things. And some people just like see, oh, car leaking yellow coolant. I'm just gonna like make that and it's funny.
I love seeing people do the Rugrats stuff because I use the Rugrats stuff as a vehicle for like telling people about like obscure stuff the history books don't talk about. And sometimes I'll learn like really cool stuff that I didn't know about earlier. But other times it'll just be like, oh, a Rugrats episode with Killdozer. Like, how many fucking times have I seen Killdozer? That's so fucking stupid.
Rugrats episode about Waco. Never seen that before.
I've got so many people asking me to do Waco Rugrats, and I'm like, I've done it before. It was the first one of the first ones I did. And earlier this week, I did a Rugrats episode where the Israeli Air Force sinks the USS Liberty, but it got taken down because it just turned into fucking grr, Jewish people are bad in the comments. I was just really upset because this is a thing that's not relatively known outside of like people who give a shit, and
Right.
just got fucking ruined by like Stormfront lurkers. Like,
Hmm.
damn.
Yeah,
No,
people in
I
the
totally agree with
comments are
you.
insane.
Um, I feel like I've seen at least once or twice Rugrats meets Jeff Doucet, Gary Plauche
Yeah,
references.
Oh,
that
like
was
every
good.
that's like every other week.
Yeah.
Every other week, someone will like do that.
Yes, To Catch a Predator.
I feel like that's another one for like the uninitiated, where like if you recognize that frame and like the way he's dressed, it's like you've been on the internet too much.
It's either that or fucking Bud Dryer or Butt Dryer.
But Bud's
Yeah.
dryer.
Butt Dryer. Hey man, nice shot.
I think I attempted to post something similar to that. I posted a oh man, it was a it got taken down like within 10 minutes. I'm very sad to say, but it was a very realistic carnival. It was a Universal Studios theme park attraction where you could like role play as Bud Dwyer. As, you can like you can do that if you wanna do that. You get to
With
be
a
Bud
podium
Dwyer
at the
for a
end.
day. Yeah, it had like a podium. I think it was called like the Bud Dwyer Experience. That's what it was called.
That's great.
And it got taken down like immediately. It was like very hyper realistic too. It actually kind of looked like it looked like PS7 graphics.
Mm.
Right at
GTA. GTA 8.
Right after Trump got shot, I did like a grainy disposable camera image of a politician wearing a red cap at an event, and his ears leaking yellow coolant. And that got taken down pretty quick. And I'm like, damn. I get that they want to avoid like conflict and stuff like that, but I feel like this kind of centrism is like leaning. It's like the kind of centrism that's like, yeah, this is right, very right leaning centrism. Because I feel like if I did something that was like the Klan is bad people and racist people are hoes and they deserve to get kicked in the mouth, it'll just get taken down. And it's like, who is disagreeing with me on this?
Right. Who's being
Yeah,
offended beyond like racist and
yeah.
No, it only takes
yeah.
one person in the comments to say anything, and then now there's going to be like another person who's going to like do a back and forth with that person. And then now there's going to be like an entire discussion about the worst possible subjects possible. And I think that's exactly what gets things taken down, because I've had like posts that had nothing to do with any sort of politics, and then some random boomer would just come in and be like, "Well, this is why millennials can't date outside their race," or something like that. Like nothing about that made any sense towards the post that it was, and then now the post gets taken down within like 5 minutes.
Mm. I
This
feel
is
like
more-
once in a while I'll see one slip through the cracks where it's just like so overtly like un PC, and it's like, well, might as well savor it for the 3 more minutes it's going to be up,
Yeah.
and laugh at how absurdly awful this is. We found another crack, but um, I feel that definitely over the past couple of months, there's definitely been kind of a how to describe it two-sided self-hating energy, with people who are just involved in AI where you want to laugh at it, but at the same time it's like, oh come on. Um, where I feel like at least the people who AI post also hate it to such a degree where they can't laugh at it anymore. If you know what I mean. I might be totally off base.
I mean, there's some people that like have like such a visceral hatred for anything AI. Um, they'll just go to any sort of AI related post, and just
Mhm.
start saying like, "Oh, this is just AI garbage." And I've only really experienced that in I like moderate a another AI group called Liminal AI, and it's just like a bunch of liminal space pictures that are just made with AI. And the only people
Mhm.
who come in and just say shit like that are just like people who are not a part of the group and are just commenting because they saw a post from the group that just showed up on their feed randomly. And they just have a visceral hatred for AI, anything AI. And they'll just go
Ooh.
in and just be like, "This is just AI garbage." Um, which that's kind of like the only thing I've really seen as far as that goes. Um, but there's just so much like stuff that I've seen in the cursed AI group that I've posted, because I'll post some stuff that's like, I guess, quote unquote not cursed to some people, and sometimes they'll get like, the only time I'll ever get like, I guess, hate is whenever I post something and they'll say, "This is not cursed at all. You shouldn't be posting this." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna like just stop posting things I want to post because you said so." So
Mhm.
like, I made it with AI just because it's like prehistoric animals doesn't mean anything. It's still AI.
Right. And I feel like even with your post, Phil, like you will like reference like personal moments in your life in
Yes.
your art. And I feel like that's not even cursed as much as I feel in some ways cursed AI has been become almost kind of its own form of expression. I don't know if you wanted to maybe further on like how because we've talked about like how a lot of, at least with your Rugrats history stuff, is formed by, some of your beliefs that people should remember horrendous stuff. But like with, I'm trying to think of like particular examples, like, stuff with your car, stuff, with like just childhood memories that where it's just
Well,
almost yeah, sorry, go ahead.
like you're good. Well, right now my big issue going on is with Window World. Fuck those guys. I hate them. I'm drafting a letter to my state attorney right now. They are vile people. They do a shitty job, and yeah, but I am using cursed AI as like a vehicle to complain about it, but also it would be great if the viewer were to take me complaining about like poorly installed Windows and be like, oh, I'm going to remember this when I need to get my Windows replaced to do my due diligence and not go with someone just because they're cheap. I mean,
Mm.
bold assumption you own a house and you're in the AI group, but I mean, still the theory's there. It's like applicable to like anything, I guess.
Now, I'll never go
I
to Window World in my entire life, thanks to you.
Welcome. You're
all,
welcome.
all my homies hate Window World.
Yes,
Fuck
they
those
do.
All
guys.
hate Window World.
I would rather circumcise a rat with my teeth than fucking give them another stint of my money. Fuck them. Them and Michael Yao, they are the two things that make my blood boil.
I don't understand what is happening with Michael Yao. I wasn't. I didn't understand that. I didn't.
Well, the long story short is I'm delivering pizza, having the time of my life. This drunk ass loser almost head ons me directly in the forehead. He's on a motorcycle. He turn he I pass him within like an inch and he hits a curb and he flies up. And I'm like, "Oh no, I've seen enough faces of death when I was a kid to assume he's just a puddle. I'm going to have to scoop him up with a mop." I turn around and he's just drunk and mumbling around, and I'm all like, "Oh, this guy's a fucking drunk loser who almost killed himself." So the cops show up. He gets arrested. He's not guilty of this DUI because the cop didn't do like the right tests or something,
Mhm.
like the right sobriety test, whatever. But he was already on probation for another DUI,
Mm.
and uh, after he got found not guilty for this, he got hauled back in for violating his probation because he wasn't even supposed to be in my county because he was far away. And I guess you need like permission to like go out of your home county or something. So he ended up pleading guilty to that, and he gets out, whatever. And I get sent like a letter from a lawyer, which is funny because I deliver pizza to this lawyer every now and then, and they
Mm.
always tip like $1 or $2. Like, thanks, hoes. And the letter is all like, "Hey, I'm representing Michael Yao. He got injured in a motorcycle accident, and we need to know your insurance information." So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go to my insurance that I had at the time and I say, "Hey, so this drunk guy's trying to sue me. Here's the arrest report. Here's the body cam footage, blah, blah, blah." And they never heard from him. And Florida's got like a 120-day rule. So, like, when you're sent a demand letter, the plaintiff has like 120 days to file in court. And they never filed. And they never contacted they never contacted my insurance to like try to get a settlement. So I guess they're not I guess he can't afford it anymore because I checked him up on the clerk of court in his home county, which is one thing I love about living in Florida. The clerk of courts are like free to access. So you can look me up or you can look anyone up and see like their past arrests or court events,
Mm.
whatever. I mean, he's going through a divorce. He lost his house. His wife got the house. He's being sued by a debt collection agency. So I don't think he can afford to pursue any legal stuff, which I mean, on one hand, it sucks because like in the democratic society, I think you have the right to that. But on the other hand, fuck him. You know, I did everything right and he's trying to sue me. Like what I don't know. But yeah, I got like one more year until like the statute of limitations completely lapse for him to take me to court. And I'll put the body cam footage up on YouTube with like funny sound effects and captions, and it'll be a time.
You should
He's
make a
definitely
YouTube poop out of it.
Oh yes,
he's
I would pay legit money to see that.
I'm still trying to get some cash together so I could get the Car Talk guys and AI to read the entire Bible. I love
Oh,
that dumb show. It's just these two Italians from Boston, and people are like, "Yeah, I have a problem with my car," and they're like, "Yeah, I have a problem with your car." It's just so dumb, but I love it. I learned more about cars from listening to Car Talk than I learned from my own father.
the I grew up watching that a lot or listening to that a lot as a kid. Um, I agree with you though. Like, just they're very knowledgeable, but they say it like a very straightforward way. And I'm sad that it's no longer a thing. I think the dude, one of them died, didn't he?
Yeah,
If I recall correctly.
Tom died. The tall guy, the guy
I
who played
remember that.
the guy who voiced the Dodge Dart in the Cars movie. 'Cause they
I
were both
did not know that.
yeah,
I did not
Ray and Tom
either.
from Car Talk were Rusty and Dusty, the fucking sponsors.
Oh wow, 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 wow.
Yeah,
Checks
I,
wow,
out.
wow, wow, wow. They were the only characters in that dumb movie worth a fuck.
I found that movie to be grating. I'm so affirmed by the fact that you are not a fan of that movie. It sounds like because
I
I
I
just yeah.
I liked Cars as a kid, but I was a dumb kid. I didn't give a shit about like plot or
It is a
character
movie for
development.
children.
Yeah, yeah, it's like what kind of fucking loser are you? Like, oh, this movie doesn't have character development. It's shallow. Like it's for fucking 7-year-olds who like Hot Wheels and Matchbox. How about you get a job and shut up?
For babies.
Yeah, it's like it's like that why you Barney haters hating on Barney. It's like, dude, you're 30. Go join the army or something.
I remember when the Cars 3 trailer came out and everybody was like, Lightning McQueen fucking died. It's like in the trailer he like just he just he just crumples everything. Like he crashes and like all of his like parts just fall apart. Like the trailer ends and you don't get to know what happens.
They
Holy
should
shit.
they should have had him die in like Cars 3, except like instead of dying in a wreck, uh just just someone uses like the wrong octane gas and he just blows over.
They should have some. They should have had like one of the cars in Cars 3 get like carbon monoxide poisoning.
He, yeah, yeah, he fucking locks himself in a garage. He's like banging on the fucking windows with his tires. Help, help, I'm in a garage of my own doing.
Have
My
like
own despair.
the Cars Mafia like make like a suicide by locking him in a garage.
Imagine Cars Jonestown. Like instead
Oh
of
god.
instead of Kool-Aid, they're all drinking that engine seizing liquid they would put in cars for like cash for clunkers. Like they're all just lining up and drinking that.
Drinking like
And just revving their engines at like 6,000 RPM.
like antifreeze in the gas tank.
Yes.
Sugar. That no, it should be Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid should go in the gas tank. All the sugar will absolutely
I
do a number.
I love I love whenever I do like anything relating to Jonestown. I love it when people are like, "Well, actually, it's Flavor Aid." Like, who cares? Who cares
Right.
if they're using like an off-brand version of Kool-Aid? It's like, is that really making Kool-Aid look any better?
Right.
It already looks bad anyways.
Yeah.
Right. They fucking went with the Great Value brand Kool-Aid for the event. What a fucking bummer of a time. You don't even get to die on like real Kool-Aid that tastes slightly better.
You know,
Yeah.
Jim Jones had a monkey that he just like kept around.
I believe
Holy
it.
shit.
All cult leaders are like very eccentric like that.
He just like had one. And he would just like take it out and just like carry it around with him. And he'd be like, "Hey,
Show it to people.
look, it's my monkey." And they'd be like, "Ah, Jim, he's so crazy."
Speaking of so crazy, have y'all heard about this gym teacher in Baltimore who tried to use AI to get his principal fired?
I
No, I
did
have not
not.
heard that.
Yeah, I heard it on NPR a couple months ago. There was this gym teacher or like some athletic coach, and I guess he was under investigation for something, or he was about to like get his contract not renewed for the next school year. So he was like, "Okay, well, I'm going to take everyone down with me." So he runs his principal's voice through like 11 labs and has him saying like all this nasty racist stuff. But it's funny because like there's no infliction, and he got the principal to name drop him in AI to like prove his point. So so his principal was like, "I hate black people, and John is the worst of the black people of who I hate." And I know that was bad because I only have one tone, but I mean,
Mhm.
it was to that effect, and the gym teacher got caught, and it was stupid. I mean, it was funny, but it's also stupid and something to think about, like bad actors using AI and stuff like that.
Right. I feel like AI is not entirely believable yet. I think there's part of me that's so shocked with how people can't detect the uncanny valley. Like, you know what, this whole like AI boomer trap thing that's going on right now? Like where it's like nobody posts this anymore, and then it's like 100,000 American flags.
On a
You
fucking
know,
semi truck
Why
going the
isn't this
wrong way down
trending?
the intersection.
yes, like that, or it's like children in military uniforms saluting their parents, and or like
Where are the
like
good
some
old
like
fashioned values on which we used to rely?
lucky for us, there's a Family Guy.
I know, right?
Very, very
Um,
lucky.
very lucky. But I see people unironically sharing that shit. Like I swear to you, I've seen at least 4 or 5 times where like someone who I know, maybe like a relative who's older, sharing these like bombastic parade pictures, or it's like the Statue of Liberty like covered in the American colors, and I'm like, how do you believe this shit? It's so comically stupid. Like I'm willing to bet the person who's doing it is doing it for engagement farming, to trick boomers, but like at the same time, like how does anyone say, "Oh, that's totally believable"? That's a veritable moment in history.
There have been
I,
times where I've posted pictures on the Cursed AI group that have almost gotten taken down, or almost like not. Like, some of the moderators thought that they weren't AI because they looked so real. Which I thought was kind of flattering in a way that I got a robot to do something that looked that realistic looking. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I really like to kind of try to push the boundaries as close as I can to getting something to look as like extremely realistic as possible, to the point where it looks just like a photograph. or like a video, just like a regular video in general.
Mm.
And my latest thing is like songs, with like Suno and Udio, I think is the other one is.
Mm.
And a mutual friend of me and Phil, Peter, likes to we like to make songs that are just absolutely god awful sounding. They sound like pigeons screeching. Is the best way that I could really describe them.
Yeah.
But one thing about Suno is this app is extremely good at mimicking the sounds of like other artists, and like extremely good at that. And
Mhm.
to the point where you could easily convince a boomer that like Journey originally sang "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." Like, you could easily do that. Like you could really do that. Um, like you could say, well, actually, Journey were the original singers of the song. Or did you know that Credence Clearwater Revival actually sang this Elton John song first before Elton John did it? Like you could easily do that and just upload it. Like a lot of these like sound so convincing that it's honestly kind of scary in a way. Like you mentioned, like the uncanny valley. Some of these sound sort of uncanny.
Mhm.
And like if you like really like if like before somebody tells you like okay you're about to listen to a thing that was AI generated, now you're listening for it. But if you didn't like listen for it, then you wouldn't kind of know. Like let me see if I can find like example
Mhm.
of one that like sounds somewhat convincing of like a Credence Clearwater Revival song.
Right.
Here's like an example of, let's say this is a song from an old ass Elton John album, and not a lot of people really know about. Um, and this is it as a Creedence Clearwater Revival song, which you could probably convince a boomer with.
I'm actually very upset with Suno because
Mhm.
I typed in replicate the sound of like connecting to dial-up internet, and it just gives me this fucking like dream pop cocktail twins crap. Like no, I don't want to listen to this. I want to listen to the dial-up modem.
Suno is not
Um,
very good at making sound effects, but
Shame on them.
11 Labs does have a way that you can generate sound effects, and you could probably
Oh
do it with
boy.
that.
um, Someone speaking of Cocteau Twins, someone once described their music as music to eat candles with your grandmother, something of that extent. And no truer words have been spoken. I truly, all that to me is candle eating music at this point.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I
Music
found
to
out
eat
about
candles
it.
too.
I found out about them through that fucking Lovely Bones movie.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, it had that fucking racist against Asians Mark Wahlberg in it.
He was also in
Marky Mark.
the greatest M Night Shyamalan movie ever made, The Happening.
Happening.
I thought you were gonna say Space Jam.
That also is the greatest M Night Shyamalan movie as well.
Yes.
Truly, the Sixth Sense doesn't have shit on Space Jam.
What was the last movie? The last movie I saw was fucking Heat. And that's not an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I don't
Huh.
think I've seen Heat.
Ooh, it's a good movie. I love Wayne Grow. He's my favorite character. Even though he's a bad guy and only got like 6 minutes of screen time. He looked like a manager I used to have, and I would call him Wayne Grow, and he would get so pissed, and then he quit his job and broke into a house in Texas.
What an arc! My goodness.
A very
Yeah.
interesting character arc there.
Yes. The Wangro origin story.
The true villain.
Yes. The true villain were the friends we made along the way.
So
Also
true.
leaked yellow coolant at the same time.
Yes.
Right. That's what you need to do next, Phil. Is like one of those fucking like 10,000 American flag procession, but it's just all covered in piss.
I would love to do like a 10,000 flag procession, but it's like the trans flag. Like, I would love to
When
do
like
that.
boomers would get pissed off because they would be like, "This is
What
what
the hell is
America's turned
this?
into."
I would love to do that, but I know people would get fucking pissed. This one day, many months ago, I wanted to do like the Dukes of Hazzard, except like the fucking car from the Dukes of Hazzard,
Right, it
except
has the stars and bars on
Oh
top.
yeah.
yeah, instead of that, it had like the trans flag, and it kept getting removed so many times, and like it pissed me off. Like it genuinely made me mad. Like, why is this not being allowed?
Right. What do you have against trans people?
Yeah, that's what I was interpreting from like the moderators. They were removing
Hmm.
it. I was livid, and I
Either
messaged
that or
one
they're
of
just
them.
scared of the comments.
Even then, it's like just use the comments to like weed people out.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Just
like
as soon as you see something that's like transphobic, just get rid of them.
yeah, it's like why is that hard to do?
Right, unless they think you're like trivializing, trans people, which I don't know how they would come across that, but I don't know. They're like, oh, well, it's in the place of the stars and bars, so he's akening them to the same thing, and it's just ridiculous.
Well, I mean, if they remove like a post or something, it would be nice if they would like clarify. And I mean, so admittedly, more often than not, it's accurate. Like removing Trump's ear leaking yellow coolant. I mean, I get that because there's a lot of fucking Trump people, but but conversely, it's like if you're just removing this picture because it's got a shitty Dodge Charger on the with the trans flag on the roof, what am I to infer from that?
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's not very tolerant.
yeah.
No, not at all.
No. You should send them to Window World, man. With the mods, you should just send them all on a fucking field trip to Window World and to meet Michael Yao. Just step in your shoes for a minute, essentially.
What's it like
Yes.
being me for like a second? Just like 1 second.
1 second, you get to be Matt for 1 second,
Yeah.
and
I
they'll
gotta go to
just leave
Window World.
crying.
Matt, don't you live in like Texas or somewhere? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
yeah,
drive all. I'm gonna drive all the way to Window World in Florida. 16
Oh
hours.
shit. Yes. Drive along the coast.
No, the last time I went to Florida, I went to Palm Coast, Florida, and there wasn't shit to do there.
Palm Coast. I think that's by Miami. Let me check.
I don't. It was kind of close to Jacksonville, slightly.
Oh, it's close to me. It's right by Jackson. It's right by St. Augustine. Yep, St. Augustine, America's oldest city.
And I think the original Thanksgiving was there, something of that extent. I know the original Thanksgiving was in Florida.
I did not know that.
I'll have to send you the article that I found, but I have some friends who are very proud Floridians who always say, Florida is the heart of America. Florida is where the real history happened. They're taking that
You're
from us.
oh
Is
God.
that why
Your
everybody
friends
from
are
New
dumb.
Jersey like moves there?
I fucking hate New Jersey. I had a bum ex roommate from New Jersey. She lived around the block from where they filmed that Clerks movie, and that's all she would talk about. Like, shut up, Nora. Get a job. Stop littering all over my room.
Nora. That's a very New Jersey name.
Yeah. And New Jersey
Yeah.
sucked. I went to Rahway because Nora's dad lived there, and like you go outside and you smell sewage. Like I'm not even exaggerating. Rahway just smells awful. How did they even film The Sopranos there? They must have been awful filming conditions.
I
Yes,
haven't spent much time in North Jersey. I've been to South Jersey, and there's some nicer parts than others. It's got its charm, but New Jersey stands now as the only state where you can't pump your own gas. Because Oregon, I don't know if you know, I live in Oregon, so um, here you can pump your own gas now. They lifted that, so you can pump your own gas, and a lot of places just don't have the attendant anymore. So New Jersey is the only place where they still have that. And my friends who are over there say that sometimes the attendants will just fucking like wait their sweet time, so you're just sitting there and you can't pump your own gas, and they don't want to do it.
It's
Yeah, that
awful. I hate
sucks
that.
about New Jersey. Like, why do they not trust anyone with gas nozzles?
No, you
I
don't.
don't understand why they have that rule, and it's not like it's the fit. It's not like every gas station in New Jersey is like a '50s gas station where they also like clean your windshield and check your oil and check your air. Like they don't do anything other than just pump your gas. So I don't know why that's such a big point. So dumb.
Yeah, I mean here, because like I moved here right when you couldn't pump your gas still, and like they would at least clean off my windows. They gave me the courtesy of that at least.
Hmm.
But the one thing that sucks is here, at least when I lived in Central Oregon, right? So the rural Bend, gas stations close. They straight up close. So like after 8 p.m., you can't get your gas tank filled,
Hmm.
which is insane. But on top of that, when Oregon did legalize self-service, they still close. You can't even serve yourself gas if it's like 9:30 at night. You're just
Can't
shit
even
out of
buy
luck.
gas at all.
No, they turn off the pump, even though they have a dude in the convenience store, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're closed. You have to come in a couple more hours." It's like I need gas now. That's the closest I've ever gotten to running out of gas was driving around Bend trying to find the 24-hour pump, and all of them were closed, which makes no sense.
I remember when I was I went to Long Island to visit Peter, and the whole time I was there, I was thinking to myself, should I get gas? Nah, I'll wait. Nah, I'll wait. Now I'll wait. And I'm leaving Long Island and I'm going to New Jersey, and I'm thinking to myself, oh no, I need gas. And I'm driving through Manhattan and I get like literally the first time in my life the fucking gas light has come on to
Mm.
my Buick. And I am driving through the Lincoln Tunnel running on fumes. If there hadn't been a gas station on the other end of the tunnel, I would have been out of luck because there were no gas stations in Manhattan, at least in the part I was,
It's
like 2 in
awful.
the morning. Yeah.
Damn, that's rough. I've Wow, that's quite a drive. Was that all the way from Florida all the way out to Long Island, or is that were you in DC at the time?
It was all the way from Florida to Long Island.
How long was that?
It was like 20 hours
Oh wow.
nonstop. I only stopped for gas and yeah.
Wow, that's. I think the longest I've ever driven nonstop was like like when I lived in San Francisco. I drove from there to Salt Lake City. No, probably Salt Lake to Lincoln, Nebraska. It was like 16 hours straight. And the problem is you're driving through all those like fucking nowhere states, so like you just don't see shit for miles.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most intense drive I've ever done. Is just driving through like the Great Plains of the U.S. and just not seeing any civilization for 8 hours.
Yeah, seeing like going through like Arizona or anywhere like like New Mexico sometimes. Like you'll see like mountains for a little bit and you're like, oh, that's pretty, and then like you get to the point where it's just like nothing. And like there's no any sort of civilization whatsoever. And you just see that for like 10 hours. Like I remember visiting I remember visiting like Zion National Park like 2 years ago, and I was like really, really excited. And then the drive like there was like 20 something hours, and we stopped in like New Mexico for like a night or whatever. But getting there initially was like kind of fun, and it was like, oh, um, nothing sucks worse than what I'm doing right now. I hate this so much. I hate looking at nothing.
Mm.
And
And
then
the crazy shit. Sorry, go ahead.
Let's just
you get
close
like,
your eyes and imagine something better.
and just like run off the road and die.
Yeah, that'd be
And then
better.
you're like in. There's no sort of civilization anywhere, and it's like nearest gas station is like check your GPS, and it's like 150 more miles to the nearest gas station.
Mm. The funny thing about those states, like those middle states, is like you know the exact moment once you cross the state line. Like the geography is the same throughout the entire state, but then suddenly the topography suddenly changes. Like, oh, okay, I know the exact moment that I've crossed over from Nevada into Utah or Utah into Wyoming, because you just get the default terrain, and then all the state looks that way, and then suddenly it changes again. Like, oh, I'm in another state. Like, I'm sure them drawing the lines to those states is just plain easy. Like, oh, you have the plains with the hay bales. Okay, that's your side, and we'll take the, really rocky side. That is just nice clear line. Like, I don't know how that is because like other states are not that way. Oregon's not that way. California's not that way. Like the there's diverse terrain, but there's other states where it's like we just have one style of outdoors, and that's all we have. And I would argue, like Utah, Nevada, Wyoming, and then Nebraska are just all that way. Just look all the same.
Florida's like that. Like if you're driving from like Georgia on 95 and you cross into Florida, you can tell you're in Florida because the roads are sun bleached because there's just so much fucking sun on them. They're like white, grayish white.
Really?
Yeah, really. It's probably like that in a lot of southern states, but if you're driving from like New York or Virginia down to Florida, you really see it. You really notice it more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could really notice like a huge difference from like Texas to Florida as far as climate is definitely different, but as far as like everything else kind of like felt the same. Texas and Florida are very, very similar as far as like just general everything. Like not necessarily like how I guess like weather or anything like that, but just it just kind of felt like Texas just in a greenhouse, really. All it felt like when I was there. Texas with more mosquitoes.
North Texas has woods though, right? And then the rest of the state kind of gets into plains and then more deserty from the south. I went to Texas for the first time like 2 or 3 months ago, and that's how someone from Texas described it to me: is that you just have the plains and then you have the forest up in the north, and then you just feel like you're in Mexico at the very bottom.
You have like in West Texas, you have like you're getting closer like to New Mexico and California, so you already have like the deserty area with like cacti and just rocks and shit. And closer to the bottom, you're getting closer to ish where Louisiana and Houston is, which is like the sweaty asshole of Texas, where all the floods happen. So that's where all like the hurricanes and everything else happen. And then you get down to like the coast, like the carcinogenic coast, pretty much. And then you have a really interesting part of Texas that not a lot of people really know about or really talk about, which is like East Texas, which is just full of pine trees and like Louisiana style swamps with cypress trees. It's very
Really?
strange. It's a very strange environment if you've never been in it before. Like it's very weird and different. Because you'll be in like just plains, just like flat prairie plains, which is like North Texas. And then if you go east, just head straight east, go to East Texas, you're all of a sudden just in like a pine forest that just resembles like something from the Missouri like Ozarks, and now there's like also a Louisiana style like swamp just here for some reason. And like both of these are like mixed together and it's like a weird like prehistoric kind of like forest kind of thing. You just never expect like this to just randomly be here in Texas of all places.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a part of Texas that like not a lot of people really like visit too often. I mean, a lot of people do. There's a lot of small towns that a lot of people like touristy visit over there. There's a movie starring Jack Black called Bernie,
Mhm.
where a guy kills this woman in a small town, and the town is like, "Oh, he's such a nice guy. Why is everybody like putting him in jail? He killed a woman."
I've seen like the movie poster for that, but I haven't seen the movie. Did you like it at least? Is it
It's
worth
it's a
watching?
good movie. Jack Black does a pretty good job of playing a very flamboyant pastor who is also a like funeral director and also a like person who sings like gospel music. So it, what's also cool about that movie is they like intersperse like actual interviews from people of the town that happened in the same style as the movie, like the cinematography like style. So you can't really tell what's acting and what's like those people. So it gives it more of like a it kind of mixes in like the reality with like the fiction a bit. So it's kind of like
Mm.
a documentary slash like fictionalized dramatization of it.
Hmm.
It's a
Didn't
good look
didn't
at like
Interesting.
that sort of thing.
Have you
didn't
seen
Jack
it, Phil?
Black?
Did you like it?
What?
Sorry, I don't know if I cut out. I said, have you seen that film that he was talking about? Have you seen Bernie?
No, I did not. But
Oh,
I know Jack Black did a movie where he played like some Polish polka guy who ends up getting like arrested for fraud. And the only reason I know about that guy is because he was in like Forensic Files, and I'm like, why is this guy in Forensic Files? He didn't kill no one. Damn, Polka Man.
I
Like a
haven't seen
maniac.
that one.
That sounds like a very fun movie though.
It's called like the Polka King or something like that.
Isn't the Polka King the guy from Home Alone, where she has to like ride in the van with them?
No,
Like,
that's no, wait. The guy from Home Alone. I thought you said Home Improvement.
Home Alone.
The guy from Home Alone. He
You know,
rides in
like
the
where like
van.
she has to ride in the van with him because she can't get like home, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm the Polka King, Polka Polka,"
Joe
something like
Pesci?
that. But was it him? I would have to look into that.
Jack
Um,
Black?
no, it was not Jack Black.
Oh.
That'd be funny if he was at Home Alone.
Yeah.
If they ever
Because
reboot Home Alone like for the 15th time, you should make Jack Black as Kevin.
Do you, do you remember the third Home Alone and how it was like completely detached from like
Oh yeah, it was
every
like a
like
weird. It was like a spy. It was like a spy movie. It was like
yeah,
It was like Spy Kids.
yeah, like Kevin wasn't there. Yeah, it was dumb.
hey, I remember there was like a point. It's like a different kid, right?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, it
completely
was a
different
different
kid.
kid. It was like a yeah, it was like a completely different kid, and I guess they were smuggling like nuclear bomb parts or whatever through like a remote control toy, and the kid got the
Mm.
toy by mistake, and the smugglers are like, "We gotta get this kid before you gotta get the nuke part out of the toy or whatever."
Or like
It
the
was
launch codes or something in it.
yeah, it was stupid. We gotta get Hunter's laptop out of the toy.
Oh my gosh. The crazy thing about the Home Alone 3 is that even if it wasn't the same cast, it was the same director. That was an actual John Hughes movie. Like it wasn't like the studio sold, the rights to someone else. That was his creative decision to completely scrap the cast and scrap like the premise.
He just wanted to make a bad Home Alone movie.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm
he
gonna go
wanted
out
to
with it,
make
and
fucking Breakfast Club look good. John Hughes is the Breakfast Club guy, right?
yes, I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, the fucking middle-aged guy who still has a thing for making like teen dramas.
Well, he should
right.
direct Euphoria then.
Did he?
No, he
I
didn't,
mean,
but
he
he
died in
should.
2009.
He died? Hold the
Oh,
fuck
what?
on.
Yeah, yeah,
John
John Hughes
Hughes.
died.
Yeah. Okay. I swear I thought he was still alive.
Yeah, he came back from the dead to direct Euphoria.
Oh boy.
Came back from the dead to died the weekend to whatever the hell show that was that he did.
He
Wait,
wrote
The Weeknd did a show?
Yeah, he
he
did a
wrote
really
Broken
bad.
Taylor.
Yeah, the weekend tried to do like his own show that was like something. Let's just say that much. It was something. Um, it was bad. It was very,
Oh, The
very poor.
Idol?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lily Rose Depp starring role. I'm taking a look. Troye Sivan's in it. That okay. Eli Roth is in it. Like of what was it? Hostel fame is in it. Like there's like a bunch of other R&B artists, and then Eli Roth is in this, which actually kind of makes me curious now as to what this show is exactly about.
I think it got canceled though.
Did it? It probably did. Let's see. One season, 5 episodes.
Well, we don't
Did
get to
not
see
last
what
long.
we don't get to see what happens to the weekend.
Oh, he's in his own show. My goodness. He's a self-help guru and the head of a contemporary cult.
Oh boy, a contemporary cult.
As
Temporary.
opposed to a traditional.
Yeah.
But
They're just
would
mixing they're making they're killing themselves with fucking Adidas. No, they're killing themselves with fucking Supreme tracksuits instead of like Nike tracksuits.
I got like
right?
100 logos on them.
Yeah.
All the shoes are untied.
First,
Beautiful.
I don't know why, but there's
And
just something endearing about shows that are canceled like
mhm.
within the first season. Like they're either really, really bad and laughable or like really, really good and just the world wasn't ready for them.
Firefly.
Oh boy. I don't think I've heard of that one.
You haven't heard of Firefly?
Let Firefly?
It
Yeah,
had
it's
had Nathan Fillion in it.
Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon.
I have not heard of Fireflies. What's it about? Fireflies?
It was a very good sci-fi show. That
Okay, if it's on
lasted like
okay.
one season. It wasn't like on sci-fi, but it was a sci-fi themed show.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say, who the fuck is watching sci-fi for anything but
Not the
sharks?
sci-fi channel, but like a science fiction show.
Right. What was
Yeah,
that?
I would argue it's Firefly's pretty good.
Let me look it up. Wikipedia Firefly. Oh, it's a space western. Wow. Set in the year 2517, the arrival of humans, a renegade crew of a Firefly class spaceship. Da, 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 da. Okay, so this is just like fucking Gunsmoke, but in the stars.
That's an interesting way to describe it.
Yeah.
That is a comparison that could be made.
Funnily enough, where I used to live, Walker, Texas Ranger was filmed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to explore more Texas. Where I was Houston, so the weather was awful. It smells like salt and fire and
Yeah, it's like the Brazil of Texas.
Brazil and Texas. And everyone looks at you crazy. They're like, "I love living here." What do you mean you don't like being here?
Houston is not like the best place ever. I don't like being in Houston. Anytime I'm in Houston, I'm like, I don't like being here. I want to get out of Houston. Because it's hot and it's humid and it sucks. No matter really what time of year you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And it's just
and
huge.
oh
Like
yeah,
it's
it's hard to
everything's so
navigate
far
too.
apart. Yeah, and like the toll roads are super confusing. They gave me an electric car. That was my first ever time driving an electric car as a
Oh
rental.
no.
And I totally couldn't find a place to actually get it refilled because I didn't realize how small the battery is on that thing. So like I was driving back from the wedding that I was attending, and it started to give me warnings that I was running out of range. I'm like, oh shit. And then I started pulling to different like charge stations, and the problem is they're all private. Like they have no infrastructure, at least in Houston, for like electric vehicles, aside from like private charging stations and apartment complexes. So I tried driving it back to Houston airport and I ran out of range right there. It sucked. And I got a long dispute with Hertz over whether it was my fault. And I'm like, you guys gave me an electric car and didn't tell me how to recharge it. They literally told me, oh, you'll be fine. You just bring it back and we'll charge it for you. The range should be good enough for the day. And never again. I never again. I not a
Awful.
fan of electric cars. Awful. Yeah, 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. Next time they offer me an electric vehicle, I would literally just say no, thank you, because it's just weird to drive. Where like when you like lift your foot off the pedal, it starts rapidly decelerating, like almost like a stop. There's no way to coast. You have to have your foot down the entire time. I don't know if other electric cars drive like that. The one I did, it was like a Mercedes drove that way. Have you guys driven electric cars yet? Have you tried that out?
I have
I
never. My Hyundai is the newest car I've driven, and it's like 10 years old.
I tried a Tesla once, and that was very interesting. It had a very similar feature to that. For like, if you take your foot off
Mhm.
like the accelerator, it'll just like stop by itself. Like it'll just coast, like it'll come to a complete stop, like just kind of like by itself, and that was so extremely weird.
Oh, that's fucking awful.
Yeah, no, I know, like in California, I don't think any other state has a rule against it yet, but California is like, we're gonna stop the sale of gas powered cars by this year and only sell electric. And I'm like, good fucking luck. The technology is not there, and just the way they drive. No, thank you. That's really depressing to me in some ways.
Imagine people just they just start making like diesel cars, like they do in Europe, because they're like, well, we can't sell gas cars, but no one said anything about diesel cars. They get like
We're
fucking Honda Civics having fucking runaways because no one knows how to operate them.
They should it's like reverse Dieselgate, where like Dieselgate made a lot of manufacturers stop making diesel cars. We should only do diesel. They should all cheat the emissions test. And it'll be great. We'll just pollute the earth and just keep on partying.
Who was even making diesel cars that before Dieselgate that weren't like Europeans? It's not like Ford was making anything diesel other than like
No,
trucks.
BMW had a diesel 320 for a minute. I'm pretty sure. I
Yeah,
don't know
but
if they sold it up the Dieselgate, but yeah.
Yeah, but BMW's German. I don't want to buy a German car. Oh my god.
Not a. This is the first American car I've owned. The Ford, I still
Yeah.
have it and it still runs. It's the first ever American car. I've driven a Volkswagen, I've driven a Beamer, and then I had a Honda. So this was my first American car, and it's cheap to fix and it works well, and I really can't ask for too much. So I mean, I feel like diesel sedan would make sense. Like people in rural Oregon hold on to their diesel sedans because then they can have like a drum at their house so they could just fill up on their own property and just not have to leave much. So I know that down there people are holding on to them, but like I Mercedes is the other one I could think of. The Mercedes sold diesel sedans for a minute. I don't
Yeah,
think any like Japanese or American sedan I could think of, beyond like Ford F-150, like a Ford F-250 or something like that. I don't think there's really that many diesel cars anymore.
I mean, there were a couple like diesel Buicks and Oldsmobiles, but this was in like the 1980s when like diesel was like just as cheap as gas. And that's why fucking more cars back then had diesel, because they were looking at that fucking gas crisis. They're like, oh well, I mean, diesel's cheaper, and I mean, it's more available, so let's
Switch to diesel.
yeah.
I feel like that'd be. Have you ever driven a diesel car before?
I have
haven't
personally
either.
not.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is that you gotta wait for the fucking glow plugs to start up, and there was this like oil refinery in Texas, and it blew up because there was like a leak or something, and some guy had like a diesel pickup, and the engine was like running away or something because I like it was just revving too much, some internal malfunction, and that caused like a spark, and it just blew the whole town up or whatever. That's
Holy
something.
shit.
Yeah, so that's something you got to be careful about with diesels, I guess.
Is there going to be a Rugrats episode about it?
Probably.
Should be.
Yeah.
What other events can Rugrats eventually confront? What's cooking?
There was a fertilizer explosion in 2011 in Texas that I remember happening.
What's up with all these fucking explosions and in Texas?
People really want Texas to explode.
Okay, fair. My only exposure to Texas is the Texas DLC in the Truck Simulator game.
that's a fun exposure to Texas. It's probably accurate.
Oh, have you heard about the crash at Crush where like in like the 1890s in Texas they intentionally drove two trains into each other and like 40,000 people came up and most of them got like killed or injured?
Yeah, they thought it was gonna be
yes.
a fun night out, and they just got killed.
Yeah, I heard about that. They were like, "Hey, we're gonna crash these trains together. Do you guys want to come watch?" Then also get crashed.
Right. They just never anticipated there being debris, which I don't know how they did it, but apparently they didn't account for it.
It's funny
there was
because
nothing going on back then, and there was the only thing that you could do is just crash shit into each other.
I mean,
it's
crashing
funny
shit into each other is still funny.
It is pretty funny, yeah.
It's funny because like we could equate like the fucking crush people to like the fucking Wonka experience people or like the Fire Fry Fest people. Like
Like
just
like Dash Con.
real
Have you ever heard
shitty
of Dash
fucking
Con?
event organizers, yeah.
Looking up. Apparently, Scott Joplin composed a piano piece called "The Great Crush Collision March," and
The march.
that's beautiful. They had a soundtrack planned. That's how, or at least I don't know if it was before or after, but that's astounding to me because part of me gets it that like if I was that bored, I would love to see a train go straight into each other, but like. uh, I don't know. Boredom just knows no limits, and we've
You're like
all
some
been bored.
rural like farm kid who has never seen like number one like a train before, and then
Right.
suddenly you get to see two of them crash into each other. And, like
That would
also
be
it's like
pretty
very
awesome.
close to you, or maybe not that close to you, but like now you're cordially invited to see these trains.
Right.
Because the newspaper said so.
If I
That's
recall
like
correctly, like one of the guys who was killed was the actual photographer of the picture. Like really, like there's a whole rabbit hole about this crash I've gone down, unfortunately, and like it's something.
It sounds honestly pretty amazing. I need to look more into it.
It's it's one of those things it's the Texas equivalent of the fact that here in Oregon we literally blew up a whale in the late 70s.
Ah, I
That
yeah,
that
I
remember.
was
read about
There's a
that.
video of that on the internet, on YouTube. Actually, you can just watch that. You can watch the whale get blown up, and then watch a car get crushed by the whale pieces.
Yeah. I mean, no one got killed, luckily, but like, it must have smelled awful after that. I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't know if the people that was ODOT, that was the Oregon Department of Transportation, that was like, how are we going to get rid of this whale? We could like try to push it. No, let's just blow it up. We're just going to get dynamite from the local loggers and just call it a day. And people showed up for that too. But I've seen the video you're talking about, and it's like it's unbelievable.
I think I would also would want to see the whale get blown up in person. Not gonna lie.
I wouldn't want to
Right.
see that. I wouldn't want to smell that. If I could drive by roadkill and I'm all like, ugh, my car don't got no AC, so I gotta drive with my windows down.
But also, when are you gonna see like a whale get blown up?
Preferably never. I would rather see who was that fucking news anchor who like shot herself on TV?
I don't
That
know, but
wasn't
I know who
Susan
you're
Smith.
talking about.
I would rather see that on TV 100 times before I see like, oh no, a whale just exploding.
Imagine if you didn't know that that was gonna happen that day, and you drove past it and it exploded.
I'd be traumatized. I would never take that road again.
Like you
The
did
crazy
also,
part,
or you didn't know that or you didn't know that like you thought a terrorist attack was happening, and all of a sudden meat is on your fucking car now.
it probably just
All of
goes
a
straight through your
sudden, meat on
windshield.
your car.
The there was another whale that beached up like 2 or 3 months ago, and everyone's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a second, attempt at blowing up the whale." And the um, the Oregon state government officially commented that they were not going to blow up the whale because people kept asking them if they were actually going to blow up the whale, and they didn't, which is really unfortunate.
But Oregon government not blowing up whales again.
Yeah,
Count
man,
on them for
that's
anything.
I
no,
think
you
sta-
can't.
I think states like Kansas and Nebraska need to be doing more to help blow up whales.
Yeah, I mean the people there are probably bored as shit. They should import whales from like SeaWorld. That's how they're gonna fucking finish off the whale program at SeaWorld. Is they're gonna like truck them out there and like again like boomer AI sized tanks. They'll just lay them out on the ground in some cornfield in Kansas, and like everyone from like 150-mile radius finally gets to see something that's interesting for like 1 second in their life.
Yeah,
They're gonna
And
rent out like a big field and just put all the whales on the field.
yeah, just FedEx some whales out. Timothy
Oh,
McVeigh just blows a whale up instead of the McMurrah building instead of a truck.
blow up your own whale. $5.
Yeah.
they'll like they'll auction it off or something like that. They'll auction the rights to blow up the whale, and they
You
can
get to
fucking
name it.
invite the people from. You get to name it. Well, I guess Jeff is not in for a good time. Oh, what is it? Fuck. They can invite the guys from Whale Wars too. The fucking like sea shepherd people who like
Oh
they
no.
like they go fight the Japanese like on the ships. They should invite those people too.
Oh yeah,
They'd
Whale
love
Wars.
to
I
see
remember
it.
that show. If we're
Imagine
gonna,
strapping them to like a chair and like taping their eyes open like a Clockwork Orange and just forcing them to watch like a whale get blown up.
Like Ludovico treatment. That's how
Yeah,
you're gonna cure them.
make them blow
yeah.
up the whale.
Have them blow up the whale.
Yeah, make them blow up the whale.
It's either the whale or your families. It's like fucking Saw. It's like fucking Saw with like the Sea Shepherd people and like Steve Irwin. He either has to like kill all these endangered species or like his family like suffers.
That's one cruel lesson.
Yeah.
We could
It's like that stock image of the child holding a gun and just crying in tears.
They're too late, Batman. They blew up all the whales.
Oh god.
your princess is in another castle.
Matt, what was that video you showed me with Carmela Harris, and she was trying to say the wheels on the bus, but like she just
Yeah,
fell
she
flat.
saw a bus, and all she said was the wheels on the bus go round and round, and she just started cackling, laughing. Which to me signifies that she's just always on a lethal amount of Xanax 24/7.
God, I wish that was
Right.
me. That,
She also
that,
loves Venn diagrams. She
that
really
whole
likes.
fucking thing reminds me. There's this public access show from like New York in like the 1970s, 1980s. You can find episodes of it on YouTube. It was called Stairway to Stardom, Starway to Stardom, and it was like a talent show, and one of them was a lady singing "Loving You" by Minnie Riperton. And you know how it has that really, really high note in like the middle of the song?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was singing it and she was like do 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 do, and instead of going or whatever, she just went ah, and it just cut there. It's so fucking funny. It's like
Somebody like shoot her off camera.
you would expect like she just deflated like a fucking balloon. It was funny.
You have to send me that.
Oh boy, yeah, I'll look it up. It was funny. Fucking public access. That would have been a time to have been alive because that was like that had to have been before I was born. I don't remember any public.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was public access in like the late 90s, early 2000s. You had that fucking puppet show with the pedophile cannibal puppeteer guy.
On Wayne Gacy, that guy.
No. Fuck. It's this Christian show. It's called like Joy Junction or something
I've
like
never
that.
heard of this.
Well,
Like
you're not
cult,
missing
Colton
much.
vibe.
It's yeah,
Colton Ball.
it's all lost media now because of this dickhead, and also because no one cared to archive any of it. So it's like this Christian Mister Rogers, where it's got like a farm theme. There's puppets. They talk about God,
Mm.
and one of the puppeteers he gets caught like trading like child porn or something, and the cops go to search his computer or whatever, and he's on like some forum that's like, what a yummy 5-year-old boy. I want to ingest him. I want to cook him medium rare and
Holy
uh
shit!
like he's something to that effect. I'll have to send it to you. I mean a video, not the forum, but yeah, it was
I
yeah,
hope
it was
not.
yeah. Oh, that'd be awful. Hey, Donovan, thanks for letting me do your interview. Have terabytes of CP. Yeah,
Right. Let me frame you.
that is a joke I would love to do, but like I can't do with AI. Like imagine imagine you had imagine you got in a car wreck and you had a dash cam,
Mm.
and the dash cam completely exonerates you of like any responsibility in the car wreck. You're completely scot free. It was the other guy's fault, except the dash cam was recording audio as well, and it picked up you on the phone saying, "Yes, I will trade 8 million tons of crack cocaine or 90 hours of child porn on 8 millimeter film. Thank you." Oh no, hold on. There's a Prius pulling out in front of me. Imagine that.
Yeah, you can't really put all of that into Bing and expect like a result of that or effect.
Yeah, yeah. It would
Make
just
the
get
whole
like a
movie.
jumbled effect. Like, and I don't even think you could get enough fucking prompts. I
Computer,
mean,
show me
enough
Celery
work.
Man, please.
What?
Computer, show me Celery Man, please.
Celery
Little Tim
Man,
and Eric
please?
bit. Remember that with Paul Rudd?
I don't
Celery
remember
Man bit?
Celery Man.
Oh, was it a Tim and Eric thing?
Yeah. Paul Rudd goes up to a computer and he's like, show me Celery Man, please.
Sounds- is it the one where it's like, oh, I gotta keep Celery Man away from my family?
He's like, Paul Rudd's like, can you show me a nude Tane?
Yeah. I know that one.
And that's basically just I guess predicting AI in a way.
I think the
You're just-
VeggieTales predicted AI,
oh
saying
yeah,
that
when
in
they're
the
like
future.
everything will be randomly generated in the future. That one thing.
Yeah, God, I love VeggieTales. It's a great show.
Oh yeah, might
Yeah.
be the only good piece of contemporary Christian content ever created. Everything else just sucks. Like they can't make art for the life of them. But VeggieTales, man, they somehow hit the right spot.
I had a
You remember
manager that
Donut Man?
oh god. Yes, actually.
I I must have had one of his VHS tapes because I don't remember a whole lot other than like how dumb it was. It was this guy and a
Mhm.
donut talk about like their relationship with God. Like you're a donut. You're not even
Right.
good enough.
I had a manager who unironically used to watch Bible Man.
Bible man.
He's a
Bible Man.
he's a dude who would turn into a godly superhero named Bible Man.
And he would just like give out the Bible, like the Gideons, or
um, I don't really know exactly what he did. I think he was like Captain America, but like Bible themed.
Imagine he called
oh,
himself. Imagine he called himself Bible Man, but all he did was just commit acts of great sin.
I only
He's
do the
like,
worst things that happen in the Bible.
now where is my sister?
I don't like you, Bible man. I don't care.
Oh, boy.
10,000 frogs. Why?
All the plagues, all
I
of the
want
curses.
to find all the baby boys and kill them.
This is because you eat shrimp.
My
Your
goodness.
fabric is of more than 2 textiles.
You're violating Levitican law.
I can't wait to get the fucking 11 Labs credits so I can do the car talk guys narrating the entire Bible.
I wonder how many
That would be the
characters the entire
cleanest,
Bible
best
is.
pleasure. What's up?
I wonder how many characters the entire Bible is.
Well, I mean, let's see. There's God, Jesus, Moses, Noah.
Like, well, I mean, like, how
Ham.
many like letters characters?
Oh, well, let's see. There's A, B, C, D. It's like 27, I think.
How many times are they combined together?
Too many times.
Oh, damn.
So there's 3,237 people named in the scriptures. 1,443 of those do not have unique names. So there's 4 Benjamins, 14 Josephs, 31 Zechariahs. But like letters, I guess it just depends on the translation. I think. So like how many are in like the KJV maybe?
No.
Let me see.
Is a Leonard in the Bible?
Is it Leonard really?
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
No.
I'm
I
like,
said
who
how
the
many
hell is-
letters.
I'm like, who the fuck is named Leonard in the Bible?
He was like his neighbor, dude. He was like Jesus' neighbor. He was just fucking there, just Leonard.
Yeah, he was just
Leonard
like,
was the fucking pigeon that
oh,
the olive thing to Noah.
yeah, we know his neighbor Leonard Cohen wrote
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Okay,
You
so
got the idea.
the King James Bible is 780,000 words, and then characters it's 3 million. So someone did figure that out.
Oh boy.
That's quite a few.
There's
Well,
Jesus. There's Jesus 2. There's Joseph
Oh,
the
they are
Third.
coming out with a new Passion. I don't know what they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna do, if they're gonna crucify him again, or I don't know. I feel
Jesus
like
gets
that
a
was like a one and
machine gun
done.
this time.
he's coming back and he's not happy.
He's coming out.
Not happy, man.
Jesus is coming out. Yeah, have you seen those movies that's like Heaven is Real? What was
Oh, I've
what
heard
was
of that.
What was it? That's
Proof
what
of heaven, something like that. Is it heaven is real? I feel like that's right.
let's see.
Colton Burpo.
Or heaven is for real.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was missing one letter. Heaven is for real.
It's
They-
for
they-
real, man.
They should make a
Like
sequel
for real
called,
friends.
They should make a sequel called Heaven is 5 Real, and it's just like about a bunch
Thought
of
heaven is
Christians
too real.
kissing each other. Just a bunch of men. It's like the hottest sections of the Bible.
Just the sodomy.
All right, throw me some numbers.
Yes, fucking Steve Rambo starring Steve Rambo.
We need a Bible story with those guys as the
Who do you think
actors.
Tit Pig would be? I think he would be a good Noah.
I think so.
Let's see.
18 naked disciples in the showers at Ram Covenant.
Did you know that song is the fucking instrumental is public domain?
Really?
That's the theme song to my show, and the reason for that is because it's fucking free. It's public access.
Oh, that's fucking great. That's like how Wesley Willis, how all of his songs are like just him
same
just going
sample.
over like preset demo keys or whatever.
Right. And I like how he uses the same one for different songs, but he just like changes the speed. Like
Yeah.
Rock and Roll McDonald's, there's at least 4 other songs where it's the same instrumental at a different speed.
Yeah, there was My Mother Smokes Crack Rocks. I don't remember the other ones, but yeah.
I Whoop Batman's Ass, I think, was the same one. Or am I thinking of... no, I think it's I Whoop Batman's Ass.
I whooped Batman's ass or I whooped Spider-Man's. I think it was Spider-Man's because Batman's was like a slower tempo or something.
Right. He used to headbutt people. That he just had like a fucking scar from like headbutting everyone.
Yeah, he's got like a it's like the size of a fucking conjoined twin on his head. Little Wesley.
Little
Wesley.
Wesley.
You got like
I
a
feel
tiny
like if
little
I was a
Wesley Willis
Wesley,
voice.
is he just the precursor to MC Ride from Death Grips? Is Wesley Willis the
What?
original MC Ride?
Well, I don't think so because wasn't Wesley Willis like wholesome and MC Ride like a kidnapper rapist or something? What am I thinking
No,
of?
no, that's not MC Ride. He's just really aggressive on stage. But like they kind of like sing the same way.
They just do a lot of like intense singing.
Who am I thinking? Oh, I don't know. It could be literally any rapper. Like Little Uzi Vertical.
Little Uzi Vertical.
Yeah.
Is that what the vert stands for? Is that what it stands for? Is it vertical?
I think so. I mean, what else does vert stand for? Other than
9
vertical?
millimeter
Vertebrae?
vertebrae.
What about that
Cardio-
triple? What
The
about
Cardi
fucking
B
triple X
cardiovascular
tentacle?
bronchitis.
Oh boy. Yeah, Triple X Tentacle. He was not nice to women or children too.
No, or the y'all cowards don't even smoke crack guy. He got busted.
That's who I was thinking of. I mistook MC Ride for
Oh, what's his name? It's
Viper.
like yeah, Viper, that's what it was.
Yeah. It is lesser known brother Neon.
Yeah, I don't know Neon.
That joke went over your head, but fair enough. They're both shitty cars from Dodge.
Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah. Damn, that just fucking whoosh. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Police said a woman's dead body has been found at his residence. Jesus.
Right now?
Yeah, this Viper guy doesn't sound like a good guy.
He sounds like
No.
a big meanie is what he sounds like.
Yeah, he's not a nice guy.
He
He's
sounds
a
like
meanie.
he sounds like he's not a very nice person, and Bible man would not approve of him.
I wish we could get rap back to the point where instead of singing like y'all gotta smoke crack, it's just people singing Hotel Motel Holiday Inn.
Oh, Phil, was it you who did the fucking like the No Limit record like cover from the early 2000s with the big text? Was that you?
The
You know what I'm
No
talking
Limit-
about?
What? And the No
Like
Limit.
the early 2000s like rap album cover where it has like the big text like wrapping around.
Scuff Eve.
Right. Because I fucking posted the Sleepy Time Bear one where it's like
Yeah, that's yeah, my biggest inspiration for those were like there was this company from like Dallas. Of course it's fucking Dallas. It
Like the worst like album covers ever, like shitty JPEGs.
Yeah, they called it like Pen and Pixels Incorporated. And it was so dumb, but like it was in a way it was endearing because like Southern rap was like very detached from like East Coast, West Coast. It's like
right. It was its own ecosystem.
Yeah, it's like when it's like trying to compare Who Killed Captain Alex to like anything Hollywood made. Like it's incomparable, but you got to give them credit for like trying to. I don't know. I think they
They
have
worked
more
with what they
fun.
had.
Yeah, they have more fun making it than like actually putting it out. Same with ICP. I like the early ICP because it was crap, but you could tell they were having like fun
Good
with it.
time.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this before about just authentically being yourself or something like that. But like with the people who are like that's like their whole thing, that's like their whole vibe. I'm like, man, I don't get it. But like at the same time, I respect the hell out of you for just owning that at the same time.
But making rap your whole vibe or like
Oh no, making like insane clown posse your whole vibe.
oh well I make Hard Talk my whole vibe. I make Squishmallows my whole vibe. It's not like yeah, I think the people who make ICP their whole vibe are doing a lot better than I am in that regard. Because at least they're listening to music. All I'm listening to are like these two guys from Boston being like, "Ha ha ha! Make the noise the cab makes." They listen to NPI.
Talk about the carburetor again.
Yeah, you got to
That's it.
get the
I'm
mother
I'm
out of the
fucking
carburetor.
I'm ending the dog's breath from now on. It's just gonna be like a fucking call show with the three of us, like giving people car advice, and it's just all terrible advice.
I don't know
You should.
anything about like good car advice, so it will be terrible car
That's
advice.
even better. You could be like to clean your engine out. You want to put sugar in the oil because it'll cause all the gunk to like accumulate and it'll shoot out the tailpipe because the sugar acts as a flocculant. Next question.
Do you want
Like
to put
great, and just everyone will sue us.
cornstarch in your gas tank? It'll fuck everything up. You want to call AutoZone repeatedly and ask them for a new VIN number.
Just call AutoZone. If the guys at Autos, okay, listen to me, Jerry from Detroit. Call AutoZone. If they say they can't rebuild your tranny, you a fucking liar. They can. They just lazy. You know they can. They got the pats.
Just keep calling them, man. Just keep calling.
They're not
They'll
on
they'll
back
eventually do
order
it for
at
you.
all.
Yeah, say hey, I need a transmission rebuilt on my 1938 Packard, and I heard y'all are the guys who can do it.
I got a Dixon Ticonderoga.
Yeah.
Got a
I remember.
Daihatsu over here.
I remember a car talk call. One of the astronauts on the space station called, and he was having like a goof with them, but he didn't say he was an astronaut. He just said, "Yeah, I'm driving one of those Rockwell things. It drives really rough for like 100 miles, and then it just cuts off, but it goes really smooth. How many miles are on the odometer? 6 million. Where are you calling from? North of Hawaii." It's funny. It's a dumb show, but it's a very endearing show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I miss it. That was my childhood, man. Was that show?
Have you ever seen the Cartel cartoon?
I have not.
It is awful.
I did not know. Did they just animate the show, or is it like an acted
No,
like premise?
someone on PBS. I mean, yeah, this is PBS because of course none of the networks would take it, and there's enough overlap with PBS and NPR. But yeah, I guess they tried to do like a scripted thing where it was like, we made a car that runs on spaghetti
Oh
because
God.
we Italians or something. Special
Oh,
appearance by Matt.
it's
It,
as the
and it,
wrench turns.
yeah, it's a wrench turns, and And it looks like real stupid fucking like Newgrounds
Terrible Flash
animation.
animation.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not good. Their cameo appearance on Arthur was much better.
Oh, I bet. Here, Click and Clack try to save the network by running for president so they can qualify for federal matching funds. James Carville plays a political consultant named Jimmy. Yeah, this sounds grating.
Yeah. And let me
So-
see what other episodes they have.
Abercrombie and Wrench.
I have to unfortunately cut this a little bit short. I have to go.
Oh, good. Hey,
my
it was
roommate
really
from-
great having you and talking to you for a bit and getting a little bit of a feel for
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was
what you're
The
about.
Red
Very-
Climp origin.
Red Climp origin.
Yeah.
Long story short, he was just a little guy that I thought up on the toilet, honestly, and he was a very fun little guy, and he will continue to be as wholesome as
Mhm.
possible, honestly.
Wonderful. No, thank you so much for your time. We'll call it there. Maybe some other time. I thought it was a really fun time to talk, and honestly, just for the last like hour and a half, we were just shooting the shit and just fucking like saying stupid shit.
Yes,
It was like an
we
interview
should-
for like
yeah.
20 minutes.
We should try to get Peter on because ducks are here or ducks are there.
Ducks are here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be the
Duck Park.
next one.
Alrighty, I'll probably get
Right
going
on.
too because it's like a quarter to midnight, and I gotta be up tomorrow to go to town
Oh.
hall and get fucking permits. Don't ever
Mm-hmm.
buy a fucking house; it's a pain in the ass. Be broke and live in an apartment forever. It'll save you a lot of
Oh, yeah.
frustration.
Hell yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
guys, I'll call it there. Thanks so much.
Alright.